Hi guys, thank you so much for 15,000 subscribers, now at 16,000 subscribers. That is absolutely crazy and I'm so grateful for every single one of you. I know that I've been a little bit absent this past month. I have been doing a lot of performances in Philadelphia and New York, so it's been a really busy and exciting time for me, and I'm also working on my senior thesis right now, so that's kind of where I've been the past month. I know that a lot of you have been asking me, when will you be back? Well, I'm back now. So today I'm just gonna take you guys through a few simple stretches that I do every single day to maintain my mobility and my flexibility. So let's get right into it. So first off, we're going to start with some spine stretches, taking that head down first, rolling all the way through the spine, feeling each vertebrae as you reach down towards the floor. Once you get down there, bend your knees and then straighten those knees, come back up, let the head be the last thing to come up. This is a great stretch for spine mobility. And again, bringing that head down all the way, letting your head lead and bending at the bottom once you get there, and making sure that you're breathing throughout this entire process, coming back up, letting that head be the last thing to come up. Good. And one more time, going all the way down and stay there for a minute. Really feel that flex in your hips. And these are called elephant walks. So you just bend one knee at a time and just really feel that nice hamstring stretch. Breathing. And you can extend that arm all the way up, feeling that length, and going to that other side, bending that knee and bringing that opposite arm up for a little spiral, and coming back down and breathing. And then I usually like to just do a little plie, coming all the way back up and rolling through the spine. So next you're going to come down to the floor, extend one leg out, and then you're going to rotate it inwards and outwards in that hip socket. Just feeling that mobility in there, and then switching over to the other side. You're going to feel a stretch on the inside of the thigh and in your hip flexors. Again, bringing that foot and leg in and out from that first position, from turned out to turned in. And then I usually like to hold in this position and really feel that stretch, and then moving to that other side. You don't need to hold it for long, as long as you're feeling a stretch. I usually like to do this a few times. This is one of my favorite stretches that I do daily. All right, and now coming to the center, me fixing my costume, and we're just going to start with some head stuff. So we're just going to nod our head yes, looking all the way up and all the way down, really getting into that cervical spine. And good. And looking from side to side, really trying to feel the length in that neck. Make sure you drop your shoulders while you're doing it, and then tilting the head, making sure that ear tries to come down to that shoulder without lifting those shoulders up. Keep it grounded. And then what I like to do is I like to turn my head to the side and look downwards and grab my arm and just pull on my head just a little bit, not a lot, just resting that weight on there, and then going to the other side and doing the same thing. This will help if you have any knots in your neck, which I get a lot. And I found these stretches to be extremely simple, but yet helpful. And just breathing while you're doing it. Next, I like a fire log position where you have one leg in front of the other and you just fold over those legs in that crossed position, really breathing, taking your time, and resting in this position, and then coming back up, switching those legs. You can put that leg on top if you would like a deeper stretch, and just folding over yourself, trying to keep that the back as flat as possible, and just breathing, coming back up, Again, bringing that leg on top of the other leg if you can. And again, if you can't, you can just keep that leg in front. You don't need to stack it, but if you would like a deeper stretch, you're going to stack it. And you'll feel it right in your glutes and down into the side of your legs as well. Next, we're going to work on some more spine mobility stuff. So I'm just doing a simple cat and cow just to warm up my spine a little bit, making sure, and then going back into child's pose to prep for my next thing. So this is a great spine mobility exercise. So I'm going all the way back into that child's pose, coming in through scared cat, and then going into a cobra position and laying down flat on my stomach, bringing it back up, back into that cat position, and back into cobra, and taking those sits bones back into that child's pose, scared cat, into cobra, and going all the way back and resting in child's pose. I usually do this quite a few times, however many times you need to feel stretched. And then in my child's pose, I usually like to go and stretch one side. So I usually take my hands over to the right, and then I take them over to the left, and just breathe in those positions and really feel it out. And then I go all the way down onto my stomach, and we'll go up into a Sphinx pose. So actually you would want the elbows down by your side, and you're really feeling that strengthening in the back. This is a strengthening exercise. And then once you push up into that cobra, make sure that you drop those shoulders from those ears. You should feel it all the way back in your lumbar spine, and breathing, and then counter stretching with that child's pose. Good. So next you're going to start in all fours, and then we're going to start with a hip mobility exercise where you're just bringing and circling that leg in that hip joint and just really getting all the little nicks out and just really feeling it. Make sure you're breathing during this. I usually like to do it a few times one way, and then I circle to the other side. Again, just rotating within that hip joint. This is going to increase that hip flexibility as well as strengthen it as well. And you can kind of feel out where there's might be some problems in your hip. So again, just doing this and breathing, and then sitting back into that child's pose. Next, we're going to be taking that foot across for that figure four position. And there's actually a few different ways that you can do this position. So this is the first way, where you just cross your leg in front. And then I usually like to rotate that ankle just a little bit, just to get an extra stretch in there while I'm sitting and breathing. Then the next way to do this is you can do it on the floor. Weave those arms in between those legs and just pull that leg towards you, and you'll feel a great stretch. Again, just breathing. I like to actually flex my feet to stabilize my knee. So that is something that I do recommend, is flexing the feet while doing this, just to give a little bit more stability to that knee. And breathing. That's the whole point of stretching, is breathing and just increasing that flexibility and seeing where you're at. And then another way that you can actually do this is that you can grab a chair and sit on it, and then you'll cross one leg just like we did before and just fold over yourself. This is really great if you work in an office or something all day, and something really simple that you can do just to help stretch out. It feels really, really good, I promise. Try this at home if you haven't yet, because this stretch works wonders for me. So next we'll be going into that lunge position. So all you have to do is tuck that pelvis underneath. You don't need to go down far to feel that. You should feel it right in front of that hip in the leg that is in the back. And then you can slide down just a little further, and then make sure that you let your head drop. There is an intense feeling that you might get once your head drops. It is more difficult. So just be careful when you do that. And then I usually like to straighten out my leg. I like to flex and point for a little bit deeper of a stretch. And again, this stretch is so effective. It really helps me. And then after I've done that for a while, I usually like to go into a pigeon pose, and I can really feel it in my glutes and in the side of my leg. And then I like to kind of drop down into that position as well, and just breathing, making sure that you know where your body's at, being aware, coming back up, and we'll go into the other side. So again, with that lunge position, you want to think about tucking that pelvis underneath. You can see my glutes are activated, my pelvis is forward, and we are going to stay in this position and just breathe, because it is a very intense stretch. It doesn't look like it, but it definitely is. And then you can slide a little bit deeper into that and make sure that head is dropped. You're going to feel it right in front of that hip joint and into that leg. Very intense stretch, but again, very effective. And then just straightening the leg, you can flex and point that foot for a deeper stretch if you would like, and tucking it underneath for that pigeon pose, and then just resting on top and breathing. And again, with the pigeon pose, if your front leg is at a 90-degree angle, the harder it is. So if you would like to adjust, you can adjust into that. So this next stretch is also one of my faves, just going into a second position and really dropping that pelvis downwards. You're going to feel it on the inside of the thighs, and just breathing, trying to push those knees outwards with those elbows. And then you'll come straight in, and you can put those feet forward in a parallel position, grab both those elbows, and just swing from side to side. Again, this is one of my favorite stretches. I do it in almost every single one of my videos just because I love it so much. And yeah, just swinging from side to side, breathing. I can hang out here forever. But yeah, it just feels really good too. So then you can come back down to the floor, breathe, settle in, and then we're going to go into some spiral twists. So there's a few different ways you can do this. You can just cross one leg and twist and really feel that spiral in that spine, and just breathe, crossing that other leg over, and again, spiraling, breathing, and then coming back. And then another way that you can do this is laying all the way down on the ground, bring one knee up as far as possible, trying to keep both of those shoulders on the floor while twisting. And again, you can adjust as you need. Sometimes I get a nice little spine crack out of this position, and it's totally worth it. Again, just bringing that knee up and over, trying to keep both of those shoulders on the floor in this spiral twist, and just breathing. This is one of the most relaxing stretches that I have. And then last but not least, just circling those legs in those hip joints. And I usually like to do a few rounds each way and just breathe. And yeah. So that is all I have for you guys today. Again, I know these stretches are really simple, but let me tell you, they are very effective. Practice these almost every day and you should see improvement. And as always, be careful. And I know that I've been absent, like I said earlier in my video, but I'm planning to get back into my YouTube a little bit and putting more content out there for you guys. So let me know what you would like to see next, and make sure you go and look at my other videos as well, and hit the like and subscribe button if you guys want to see more. Besides that, stay safe and healthy and keep stretching.